You remember the tone of their voice, the pause before they answered, the way they said sure instead of yes, but you can't remember what you talked about for 2 hours last week. Why does your brain hold on to the smallest social cues and let entire evenings slip through your fingers? It happens again. You're lying in bed, replaying a 3-second interaction from earlier today. Did they seem annoyed? Was that comment passive-aggressive? Should you have said something else? Meanwhile, moments that should matter, birthdays, deep conversations, sunsets you watched, fade into nothing. Your brain doesn't treat all memories equally, and it's not random. There's a pattern here, a psychological filter deciding what stays and what goes. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's what you need to know first. You're not broken. You're not anxious for no reason. And you're not overthinking because you lack confidence. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's just optimized for a world that no longer exists. Let's go back 200,000 years. You're part of a small tribe, 30, maybe 50 people. These people are your entire world. Your survival depends on being accepted by them. So your brain develops a radar, a threat detection system. It scans for social danger, a dismissive glance, a cold tone, a moment of exclusion. Because in that world, being rejected didn't just hurt emotionally, it could mean death. No tribe, no food, no protection. Your ancestors who ignored social signals didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. So your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, became hypersensitive to social threat, not just physical danger, social danger. And here's the key. Your amygdala doesn't care about accuracy. It cares about speed. So it overreacts. It treats ambiguity as danger. A neutral tone becomes suspicious. A quick yeah becomes rejection. Psychologists call this the negativity bias. Your brain weighs negative information more heavily than positive because missing a threat once could end you. But missing a moment of beauty? That's just Tuesday. Now let's talk about why the good stuff disappears. Big moments, happy ones, don't trigger the amygdala. They don't feel like survival, so they get processed differently. They go to the hippocampus, your memory builder. But here's the problem. The hippocampus needs emotional intensity or repetition to lock something in. A peaceful dinner? Low intensity. A great conversation? Feels good, but not urgent. Your brain saves it to short-term memory, and short-term memory is like a whiteboard. It gets erased unless you review it, unless you rehearse it. But you don't rehearse the good stuff. You rehearse the threat. That's why you can remember a weird look from a coworker 6 months ago, but not the compliment they gave you last week. Here's what this does to you over time. You stop trusting your social reality. You think people are upset with you when they're not. You assume tension that doesn't exist. And because your brain replays these moments, you reinforce the neural pathway. Every replay strengthens the memory. Every rumination makes it more vivid. Psychologists call this rumination bias. And it doesn't just affect memory. It shapes your perception of reality. You start to see patterns that aren't there. You read into things. You become hypervigilant. And the good moments, they slip away. Not because they didn't matter, but because your brain wasn't designed to hold on to them. So, what do? You can't change 200,000 years of evolution, but you can work with your brain, not against it. Here are 5 principles rooted in psychology. 1. Name the bias. When you catch yourself replaying a moment, pause. Say it out loud. This is negativity bias. My amygdala is overreacting. Neuroscience shows that labeling an emotion reduces its intensity. It activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and calms the amygdala. You're not dismissing your feelings. You're just putting them in context. Your brain's first interpretation is rarely the right one. So ask yourself, what else could this mean? Did they say sure because they're annoyed? Or because they were distracted? Or because sure is just how they talk? This is called cognitive reappraisal. You're not lying to yourself. You're reminding yourself that ambiguity is not evidence. And your amygdala hates ambiguity. So it fills in the blanks with threat. Your job is to offer alternative explanations. If you want to remember the good moments, you have to rehearse them. Not once, repeatedly. At the end of each day, write down one positive interaction. Replay it in your mind. What did they say? How did it feel? What did you notice? This isn't toxic positivity. This is memory consolidation. You're giving your hippocampus a reason to save it. You're creating a neural pathway for the good stuff. And over time, it becomes easier to recall. When you catch yourself ruminating, don't try to stop the thought. That usually makes it worse. Instead, do something that requires working memory. Count backwards from 100 by sevens. Name 5 things you can see. Describe an object in detail. This works because rumination and working memory compete for the same mental resources. You can't hold a spiraling thought and count backwards at the same time. Your brain has to choose, and when it does, the loop breaks. Your brain is looking for patterns, so give it better data. Keep a list, on your phone, in a journal, of moments that disprove your fears. Times people reached out, times you were included, times someone said, "I'm glad you're here." When your amygdala says, "Everyone's mad at you," you can pull out evidence to the contrary. This is a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy. You're not denying reality, you're giving your brain a more complete picture. Here's the mental model. Your brain is running 2 systems. One is fast, emotional, threat-focused. The other is slow, reflective, context-aware. Most of the time, the fast system wins because it's louder, because it feels more urgent. But the slow system is more accurate. Your job isn't to silence the fast system, it's to consult the slow one. To ask, is this threat real or does it just feel real? And to rehearse the moments that matter, not because they're louder, but because they're true. You're going to overthink things. That's not going anywhere. Your brain is wired for it. But now you know why, and that changes everything. You're not fragile. You're not broken. You're just human, carrying an ancient alarm system into a modern world. And the more you understand it, the less power it has over you. The small interactions will still sting, but the big moments, you'll start remembering those too. Not because your brain suddenly changed, but because you did. Your brain isn't the enemy. It's just trying to protect you.